Hey guys, what's up? Power of Boxing, and I haven't did a review yet on the Mayweather slash Pacquiao. At last, it's called. It's a documentary kind of thing uh, for Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. It's instead of 24/7, they did different programming. Like they have this one at last, one I'm going to talk about right now. They got talking the legends speak. So it's one of those to promote the fights. So it's kind of documentary style, and it was great. It started off good. The whole thing was good. It was entertaining. You wanted it to be like the fact that whatever you're watching, either a show, movie, it's good when you're checking how much time's left because you don't want it to end. So you're looking at it and you're like, oh shit, this is really good. How long more is this? And you find out it's only 10 minutes more. You're kind of, because it's keeping your interest so much. But, so I watched it like a week ago, but I'm watching like certain parts in it though, still, because it's just really well done and it pumps me up watching certain parts. But I'll try to remember the parts that I really liked. Obviously, the part that I watched many times is I really like that the ending part near the end when the narrator comes in and they're talking. The narrator's like, you wouldn't want to ponder a world without fighters or trying to find the easiest way. And then they're showing Pacquiao and Mayweather just doing their routine over the years and years, running in different training camps, hitting the speed bag. Then the narrator keeps on talking. They do the same things over and over and try to find purpose in this brutal sport. And then the narrator says, finally, Pacquiao and Mayweather are meeting in the ring, are going to share the same boxing ring finally. And that's just intense. The music in the back, and just HBO did a great job. And then, like, the whole thing was good, really. I'm just going to go over some parts. And then I like the part when they're following Freddie Roach in the morning. When he gets up, he's got to take a bunch of pills because Parkinson's, his what do you call it? He's getting a lot of back problems lately too, so he's got to take so much medication. You can tell. It's kind of, he can tell he doesn't like taking medication, and he's in pain, and you can see in his voice. He doesn't like to show it though, but you could tell. And then he talks about how someone in the Philippines, last time he was in the Philippines watching Manny play basketball, he was like, someone there asked him, are you still Manny's father figure? And Freddie Roach said, no, I don't think I'm his father figure anymore. I think I'm just his friend. I'm his friend now, not his father figure. He's like, then why, when Manny gets a basket in, he looks at you? And Freddie Roach is like, I never thought about that. So I waited and I watched him get a basket in. He looked at me. I watched him get another basket in. He looked at me again. And I never thought about that, but maybe I am still his father figure, because the guy said, because he still looks for your approval. So he would get the basket and look at Freddie Roach and smile. Freddie Roach would smile back. So I really like that part, just because they really do. They really are meant for each other. That trainer fighter, like without Freddie Roach and without Manny Pacquiao, none of them would have got to this point. Like Manny Pacquiao wouldn't have got to he would have won probably maybe a couple like championships, but he never would have got up to 8 division world champion without Freddie Roach. He never would have been the top of the elite, the number 1 pound for pound fighter of the world without Freddie Roach. That's my opinion. I think Freddie Roach is what made Pacquiao the way he is now. Like, I know a lot of people think he's overrated or think trainers are overrated, and Pacquiao would still been successful. Pacquiao probably would have been successful still, but like I said, he never would have even came close to the success he has right now, though, without Freddie Roach. Like I said, he would have won probably maybe 2 weight classes, 2, 3 at the most. Never would have won 8, though, without Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach is what took him to the next level. So they're made for each other. Without either one, they wouldn't be where they are today. So I don't think Freddie Roach is overrated at all. And he proves it. He's got a very good track record. And it's just, they got a really good relationship, Pacquiao and Freddie Roach. Then I like the part when he's talking about Pacquiao when he first came to the gym, when he was talking about when everyone was telling Freddie Roach back in the day not to open a gym. It's too much work, and it's just too much, and too much hassle and too much hardship to open up your own gym. It's tough. And so Freddie Roach opened it, and the reason why he opened it, because you never know when the next Muhammad Ali walks through the door. He always says that. A month later, Manny Pacquiao walks in. They do mitts for 1 round. He already knew Pacquiao was going to be a great champion. He already knew he's going to be champion in more than 1 weight class after that. But he never thought he was going to get up to 8. He thought he was guaranteed Pacquiao was going to be at least a 2-time 2 weight division world champion. That was guaranteed, but never 8. And he was talking about how once Manny Pacquiao came into his life, he was just so important, because Freddie Roach said he had so many good fighters in his stable, in his gym, but none of them were as important as Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao was the most important to Freddie Roach, and he didn't really focus on the other fighters once he met Manny Pacquiao. He put a lot of the focus on Manny Pacquiao. So just shows you just the bond between them both, and I really like that. And then I liked HBO they totally outdid Showtime for Showtime's little series to try to promote the fight in their little, what was it called again? Inside Pacquiao Mayweather, and it's just all Mayweather, and it's all the same clips. Just repeats of putting all clips together. That's what I remember. I couldn't even watch the whole thing. I just found it boring, and like I said, it was the same old thing, and there was barely nothing about Pacquiao. Who wants to see a promotion when it's just about one fighter, because then you don't get to see the other side? HBO did focus more on Pacquiao, but it wasn't, because Pacquiao is their fighter, so it was, you could understand why they focus more on Pacquiao, because that's their fighter. But still, they showed a lot of clips with Mayweather, and they showed a lot of interviews with him and stuff. They had a combination of Pacquiao and Mayweather in theirs. Obviously, more emphasis on Pacquiao, but Showtime didn't even put any emphasis on Pacquiao. You would think it was just Floyd Mayweather fighting himself, really, because they didn't even show Pacquiao at all in the inside Pacquiao Mayweather. But so it was just, they totally outdid Showtime. I've always said HBO is better than Showtime, way better than Showtime, way, way better. And this just proved it again, that HBO is way better. They put on the better fights, the better matchmaking, and the better documentaries and programs. So, anyway, and another part that was really interesting, when the Marcus 4 fight, they were talking about when Manny Pacquiao got knocked out. They're asking interviews of the reactions of Freddie Roach and what do you call it? Yeah, Freddie Roach and others, and I think and Larry Merchant, and I think Larry Merchant said, I really did think he was dead or something, and Freddie Roach says, I didn't think he was dead. I didn't think that, but it did cross my mind, what if he is. But then he got up and he was okay and smiling. But in boxing, you kind of overlook that, a lot of time. I know I do. You look at these fighters, and boxing is like a really, like it's very physical. You're hitting someone in the head, and when someone gets knocked out, you kind of think, oh, he got knocked out, he lost, or he won the fight, he knocked him out. But you don't think about, when you think of a knockout, you don't think like this guy could, you could die, you could get serious damage and die like hours later or whatever. You don't, like, he could have been that night. He could have been dead. He could have, like, it was good that he got up and he was fine. You could tell he was fine right when he got up. But yeah, you kind of, you don't really think about that when someone gets knocked out. You don't really think, oh, like it's just, you kind of think, oh, that guy just got knocked out or he knocked out him. You don't really think, oh, he could be seriously hurt or dead. You don't, that, like, it's a very real situation. It's a very serious situation. And yeah, so, but Manny Pacquiao bounced back like I knew he would. Battered Brandon Rios for 12 rounds, shutout. Timothy Bradley rematch, got his revenge for that robbery. Pretty much almost knocked out Chris Algieri in the 9th round. Barely made the count. You could say he didn't even make the count, Chris Algieri. But yeah, so it was a good documentary. It was very good. I loved it. And like I said, I keep on watching that part where like I said, the narrator's talking when he's like, you wouldn't want to ponder a world without fighters and stuff. Like, you know what part I'm talking about. And it shows Manny and Floyd just running, doing repetitions of the same thing over again. That's how they become great. Repetition makes perfect. And they just do the same things over and over again. Thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of punches on the bag, running for thousands and thousands of miles. And yeah, so that was my favorite part. And when Freddie Roach talked about Pacquiao and his bond, and Ari Uso's father figure, and how Freddie Roach spoke with such emotion when he said no other fighter was more important than Manny Pacquiao. I focused all my energy on him. Just the whole documentary was just really good. And then it ended with the song, I don't know what it's called. I don't know if the song's called At Last, but you'll know what I'm talking about. That girl who sings that song. They ended with At Last. I don't know who does that song, but it was just a well-done documentary. And then they talked to Oscar De La Hoya, talked to others, how Oscar De La Hoya was just stunned the way Pacquiao performed against him that night. He never would have dreamed Pacquiao would be that spectacular and do that to him. He was just overwhelmed. It's just a guy who never stopped throwing punches. And Oscar De La Hoya said he just couldn't pull the trigger because he was getting hit. And everyone was shocked by Pacquiao. A lot of people were shocked by Pacquiao winning. Larry Mergen said he was just shocked that he did that to Oscar in that fashion. Made him quit on the stool after the 8 rounds. So yeah, Pacquiao, a lot of people were protesting and giving Bob Arum, like criticizing Bob Arum. You shouldn't have made this fight. Pacquiao is gonna get hurt real bad, and it's just, we want to protect our fellow countryman Manny Pacquiao. We don't want him fighting Oscar. There was protesting the fight to be stopped, Manny Pacquiao versus Oscar, because they thought Oscar was such the big favorite, and we see what happened. But yeah, so then they talk about how Pacquiao's seen his friend die in the ring. In his arms, he died pretty well. Like, said he was holding him in his arms and he was just limp, he was dead. And then Manny Pacquiao, this is early in his career in the Philippines, and then Manny Pacquiao goes in and fights. Then right after his friend dies in his arms, he goes and fights in the ring and wins that fight. So yeah, that was pretty, that's got to be, the experience Pacquiao went through, no wonder why he can deal with pressure. Look what he went through. Someone died in your arms, and then you go in and fight right after to what happened to that guy, your friend. So let me know what you guys think about At Last, Pacquiao versus Mayweather. I really liked it, and like I said, my favorite part is the part where the narrator's talking and they're showing Pacquiao and Mayweather train over the years, and how he's saying they're finally getting in the ring together, and that was just intense. So that's my favorite part, but yeah, the whole thing was good. And yeah, thanks for watching.